Alright, this beautiful evening's gloaming. Evanescence. All that. I'm going to be performing an oil change on my truck. So this segment of the video I'm calling Phase 1. See, this is going to be staging before starting the truck. I don't know if you can hear it. There's going to be a periodic roaring in the background when the vehicle's not running. I live about 10-12 miles from a dirt track raceway. This is my old oil pan sitting in my new oil pan to keep the water out. We'll see if it worked. Sort of, but not really. That's so nasty. That's what happens when oil and water mix and then settle. Degreaser. Alright, I'm setting the phone over here. Sorry for the scenic view for a moment, but... Here, have some sky. Gross. Okay. Well, I guess Phase 1, Part 1 should have really been getting gloves. You may think it's a mess, but I, with my memory, know where everything is stacked. Here, have some box. So as I'm doing this, I'll attempt to regale the past couple of days' automotive experiences. Begins with the most recent repairs that I had done on the front end of my truck. Ball joints are a bit out of my ken. I don't have a lift. I don't have a garage I can actually pull into. And trying to do ball joints with a floor jack on gravel is not advised. So I don't do it. Unfortunately, that meant $1,400 in repairs. Could have been worse, I guess, but that was all 4 ball joints and both tie rod ends and U-joints in the 4-wheel drive front drive shafts. They had been having issues, and they said, while we're in here, we might as well do it. And it was like $50 extra. Okay, do it. Orange for this one. Hopefully I don't need a screwdriver and a hammer for this one. But Rob, why would you need a hammer and a screwdriver to change oil? Alright, so get a funnel. Spiders everywhere. I used to be terrified of spiders, but I don't like flying, buzzing, biting insects more. So I let them live, and they don't bother me. And there are only certain spiders that need to be worried about, I've learned. It's great applying logic to phobias. Okay. Wrenches, breaker just in case, probably won't need it. Better safe than sorry. Okay. And all of the wheels are in the back of the truck, so I won't move those since I'm just going to move the truck in a minute. Okay, can drain, can fill. Hopefully I have the right wrench in there to undo. Get a socket for that if I need it. Okay, so that's all I can do for now. Oh, pupper. Why do you gotta... She's such a cat. Hi, now lay on the things. Alright, so... regaling the past whatevers. I'd had $1,400 worth of front end repair done on this truck. And the roads were so freaking bad that it has almost all been undone already. The previous video I had just basically silence and a sunrise, and you could hear this clatter going on. That was the front end on my truck. So save myself a trip. So anyways, oh God, that's heavy. Anyways, the whole point being the suspension and front end ball joints and whatnot on this were so bad and so clattery and so shaky and so horrible that I couldn't drive the truck another night, and so I took the wife's truck to work, much to her chagrin and argument, the next day. That was 2 days ago. So then last night I had to take this truck again, check the oil and the coolant on it. The oil was really low, the coolant was low. The coolant gets low when the oil gets low because the water pump bolt holes on this block, the engine block for the truck itself, has one of the bolt holes is there was a strip or a broken bolt or something, and another bolt was tap and died, and I am not able to get it to take again, so I don't know if more of that broke off. So anyways, there is one bolt not installed on the water pump on not really crucial location, but when the engine gets hot and the like the oil level gets low, and then the engine gets hotter, and then it starts to steam out coolant, and then the coolant gets low, so the engine gets even hotter, and it becomes a self-perpetuating problem. So anyways, the only solution to that is a new engine block, and that's a ways down. I'm not there yet. It still runs. I just keep it up, and it's not too bad, especially with my new work situation changing, that it's going to be a lot less costly to keep this thing up. It's like survival instinct mode turning off, and now this truck has to get used to being a casual daily driver a few miles. This baby right here has taken me thousands and thousands of miles a week. Not exaggerating. Oh my gosh. So anyways, yeah. 6 nights a week, 7 nights a week, 2 routes a night at least, making $1,000 a week, $75 a route. Do the math. These are all motor routes. These are all in the country. It could be anywhere from no miles, 5 miles, 30 or 40 miles to get to where the route starts. Some of these routes are over 125 miles long. The one route was 160, not counting to and from. And I was doing the second route along with it. It's taking me about 6-7 hours to do. It's pretty enormous. And this truck made it like a freaking champ. So, I'm going to cap off the first segment by pulling up into the spot, and then I'm going to stop and title it and upload it, and then move on to the next phase. This is just staging, and I'm going to warm the engine up, because warm engine oil is easier to drain, and this is broken down sludgy oil. I've also put, last night I filled in, see what happened was my wife's truck that I had been taking, she had to go out of town, because thank Medicaid, she has to drive almost 2 hours to get to the hospital that takes the state service, which is the University of Iowa, and so she has to take this trip, and she was having an issue and had to go deal with it. And so then on coming back, her tire went flat about the time she pulled in. She didn't notice it, she pulled in, and then by the time we tried to pull out to leave to take her to work, a couple hours later, or less than an hour after that, it was already flat completely. So, had to get that fixed. That was an expense today that I didn't really like, but whatever, had to do it. New tire, because it looked like she'd run over a knife blade. So anyways, I had to take this out, but I checked the oil and the coolant, noticed that they were low, topped them both off. Once I got to a gas station, I was able to get some oil, put a little bit of ATF in it, because I learned a magic secret that automatic transmission fluid is also a petroleum-based oil that is not going to damage your engine if you don't run only ATF in it, and even then you could do it for a while. And ATF is a detergent. It's got something in it that is part of what it does. It keeps the transmission system clean. You don't ever have to change. You're not supposed to change your transmission fluid. It's a self-cleaning detergent or whatever. So anyways, you put a little dribble of that, less than a quart, or a quart for if you're really trying to deep clean your motor. You put like a quart of ATF in instead of the 1/6 quart, which you'll see me putting a big jug plus a quart. You would put ATF like in your oil filter and then put it in or whatever, something like that to get it into your system. And the ATF basically degunkifies your whole, like your lifters and your valve stems and your springs and everything up in the head, because the oil gets squirted up in your cylinder walls and everything. If there's any gunk, crust, chunks, it'll clean it out. It's really funny because if you pour out ATF, it's kind of a pinkish red, bright magenta, if you will. It's kind of a contradiction in terms, but you know what I mean, if you've ever seen it. It's just like cough syrup red stuff, and if you've ever seen Dr. Marvel's Mystery Oil, that stuff just basically looks like ATF to me. Only paid more per bottle. So anyways, I'm going to start the truck and pull it ahead, and then set this video to upload. This is part one. Got to warm the engine oil up. The next part, you're going to watch me change a serpentine belt, change the oil filter. I'm also going to change the air filter. I'm trying to get this as up to snuff as possible given the suspension, and that way, as it turned out after I fixed the oil situation yesterday, it ran a lot more smoothly, which meant much less shaking, which apparently there was a harmonic vibration that happened because of insufficient lubrication of the cylinders. So I'm going to change the oil. She should be good for that. I'm going to get the gray truck fixed. The rear end is shot. It is actually in free roll in park. It's got a chock on the other wheel, front wheel, keeping it from rolling. I'm probably looking at $1,000 or $1,500 repair to get that. I got to get a new rear end and get it replaced. Maybe I'll get lucky and it won't be as bad. But I'll be driving that for a while, to getting back and forth to my new job until this gets fixed up. So, move the truck, move to phase 2. This truck also has an issue with the ignition switch and or oh my god, look at how shaky. Listen. Alright. So I can't turn the light on. I'll try and catch a little bit here on this segment with it running. Well, you know what? I'll just keep it running until the next segment. It's 13 minutes already. So anyways, this has been phase 1. The next step is going to be letting the truck warm up and get out of there. You don't drink that. That's gross. That's gross. That'll make you sick. Get. You hear my belt chirping. You heard the ball joint clacking. Get you some sound of this for comparison.